Hey everybody, it's Core from Core Astrology here with you today on a very, very special day. I'm feeling very honored and blessed to be able to chat about this eclipse season that we're going through at the moment, because it is a very momentous time. We haven't had an eclipse together with the Saturn and Pluto conjunction since 22 December 1284, which is 736 years ago, and then again on the 5th of January 1518, which is 502 years ago. So this is something that doesn't happen very often, and it brings with it profound change to all of our lives. So the eclipse season per se is a time for evolutionary growth, or an evolutionary jump, or a big step in our own personal evolution. It's a sense of concentrated energy, and it's really a super dynamic period. So I wanted to start off for you Aries with what was going on during the annular new moon eclipse in Capricorn, which was on the 26th of December, just a day after Christmas. So, and of course for Australia and the more eastern parts of the world, this was happening on the 27th. Africa, upwards and westwards, was on the 26th of December. And during a new moon eclipse, we take the time to plant the seeds for our future dreams. It's good to realize that one has to start off at a clean slate. Forgive, kind of make a straight line in the sand, forgive everything from prior to that new clean slate time. Realize one's potentials and focus a lot on one's dreams and hopes. It's really a very quiet time when we realize that things are brewing, this potential that we have. And it's a fabulous time to meditate and focus on the dreams and hopes and wishes that you have, and tune in to your higher self and make time for ideas to come to you from the ether, from your higher self, from the angels. Just listen to your inner voices, but remember to stay calm and make time not to be busy in the outside world, to not be able to listen to your internal yearnings that your soul is trying to communicate to you. So whatever it is that you want at a new moon, which was around the 26th of December 2019, which culminated to be an eclipse as well, which makes it a more stronger, more concentrated energy to have time to set new intentions once you've connected with your inner soul and heard your inner spirit's voices, is to either write down these wishes, or to paint them down, or to think about them and to visualize them. Because for us to create something in our life, we start off with imagination, with a dream, we then visualize it, we then verbalize it, and we then materialize our dream. So this is what would have happened for you Aries around the new moon eclipse on the 26th of December. And this was happening for you, dear Aries, in an area in your life that relates to your career and your own personal success. So there would have been a time that you would have realized that there are new dreams, new hopes and wishes. There are new intentions that you want to set for your own personal success, what your status in this world is, how you want to shine and be a light out in the world in an extroverted way. How do you want to show what it is that you can do in your career? And it was an important time, just the day after Christmas, to realize this potential and to make your hopes and wishes and intentions aware to yourself. So 2 weeks later, for the Aries, we have this beautiful full moon lunar eclipse. So the moon would have moved from its position next to the sun, which is the new moon, 180 degrees away, to a position where it is in opposition to the sun, which is we call a full moon, and it happens to coincide with the position of the nodes in the heaven that make it an eclipse. And an eclipse is always has stronger potential than a normal full moon or a normal new moon. So this full moon lunar eclipse, which is in Cancer, is happening on the 10th of January. The time in Los Angeles will be 21 minutes past 11 a.m. In New York, 21 minutes past 2 p.m. London, 21 minutes past 7 p.m. Johannesburg, South Africa, 21 minutes past 9 p.m. In Bali, it will be 3:21 a.m. on the 11th of January, and also in Sydney it will be 6:21 a.m. on the 11th of January. Now, at this time of the full moon, things come to a head. As the full moon has grown from a little sliver in the sky into this magnificent full moon, so too have our emotions grown. And by the time we come to the full moon, there is a sense of a climax of emotions. It's as if our emotions pour out of us and they become very visible and very yang. There is a display of the feelings. And the emotions that come to surface means that there is or are emotions running high. So, in other words, we reach a peak of the cycle which is related to the intentions that we set as the Aries in the career area of our life. There's almost a culmination of how far did I get since the 26th of December up until now. So all these matters that are brought to the surface, there's a sense of closure or completion of these intentions set 2 weeks prior, a sense of endings or resolution, or the fruits of your labor come to a head. And at this point, you might realize that you haven't managed everything that you really wanted to necessarily get done in those 2 weeks. So there can be this sense of, I didn't manage everything that I wanted to do. And with our emotions running high, this is where the word lunatic comes from, because it's related to the lunar cycle, and as the moon reaches its full cycle, so do we emotionally. And it is important at that time to forgive ourselves for what we didn't complete. Maybe you had 10 things on your list at new moon, and you've only managed to get through 5. And there needs to be an acceptance that this is okay. There will be new moon cycles again. There will be opportunities to do whatever else is on the list that wasn't done. So important to, after forgiving yourself for what you haven't completed or forgiving others for what they haven't completed at this time, also make a gratitude list for the things that you have achieved. It's very important to do this, to try and kind of keep your emotions running calm, because things do get to a head and people could be maybe fighting more or acting out their emotions more stronger than usual, especially now because we are in eclipse season. Also, what the moon will do during the full moon is, with the light that it brings into our world, is it illuminates situations. So things that you might have lost could be returned to you, or even secrets that you weren't aware of could be revealed. And for the Aries, this is happening for you, the full moon, in regards to matters related to your home and personal life, your family life, your property, the land that you own, your home, how you nurture your family life, and also how you nurture yourself within the family life. Who are you feeding? Who are you there for emotionally? Who are you connecting with emotionally in your family life? So the focus on this full moon is just that. How can you remain a good family person, mother, father, sibling, daughter, etc., during a time when you're actually focusing on trying to change things in your career. And also, the subject that I want to bring to your attention, dear Aries, is that we have the Saturn Pluto conjunction happening in the same area of your career. Now, during the Saturn Pluto conjunction, which is a hugely significant cycle for all of us. Why? Because the last time it happened was 502 years ago. The time before was 736 years before. This means that in our lifetimes, we will not experience another Saturn and Pluto conjunction in Capricorn. This is truly a once-in-a-lifetime event. Saturn is where we have structures in our lives, and for you Aries, this relates to your career and your status in the world and your own sense of your own highest success. And when Saturn and Pluto conjunct in the heavens, which is happening on the 12th of January, in the next couple of days of 2020, this is a time for a huge turning point. So this turning point is not something that you'll just feel only on the 12th of January. It is something that's been building up all of 2019. You would have felt it already because Saturn was getting closer and closer and closer to Pluto. It was 5 degrees away from Pluto. It was 4, it was 3, it was 2. Currently it's at 1. And on the 12th of January, it will be exact. Both Pluto and Saturn will be in the same degrees at 22 degrees of Capricorn in the heavens on the 12th of January. So what does this mean for you, dear Aries? What this means is that this is a time for spiritual evolution within yourself. It is a purposeful quantum leap into what you really want to become in terms of your career and your own personal success, in a format that makes you more authentically, or just more authentic, just be more of who you are and who you want to be in your career and how you feel that you want to shine and be a success out in the world. And everything that has made you feel successful in your career in the last 29 years seems to be outdated. It's almost like an expiration date has reached to the old ways of running your career and being successful in the world. And to all of us are evolving. The world is constantly evolving. The world is turning around its axis and it's turning around the sun, and nothing ever stays the same. And part of us staying on course is to evolve with the times. And what the Saturn-Pluto conjunction means for you, dear Aries, is that it's time to evolve and become more authentic in your career. So the idea is that there is a sense of revival in your work, and that the vision of yourself in your own form of personal success, status, and career preferably is in alignment with your own personal power and integrity. There is more that you can give. What you've been doing for the last 29 years, even though you've been successful during the last 29 years, has now led you to a point where you can actually step up the mark. There is more to you that is more authentic and more powerful. Pluto is about empowering. And it can only empower you if you're willing to let go of the things that have held you back. And the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, which has been leading up all of 2019, and we will be feeling the repercussions of it for all 2020. This is 2 years that you have time to look at your own inner demons and say, I have fears and anxieties. I have old blockages or traumas. I have things holding me back from being empowered. I have had in the last 29 years situations where power, external power, has kind of repressed me or squeezed me or made life difficult for me in my career in the last 29 years. And because of that, I'm now stronger. I've built up this inner power, and I've worked through my own insecurities and fears to say this is now time for me to really shine out in the world and be incredibly successful. So this year for you, Aries rising sun or moon persons, the empowerment that the Saturn Pluto is giving you in this area in your life is enormous. It's time to break free of your shackles, let go of the anxieties and the fears, and shine out and show us the powerful you that you are. So it's a new era for you. It is a great awakening for you and a very dynamic time. And a time for major renovations in your career house and your status in the world. These things that have been holding you back are truly over. The expiration date ends on the 12th of January. There is no way you can try and hold on to old structures like an empty shelled body would. You can run around feeling empty. Your soul would be empty, and you'd just be this empty structure body doing what you've been doing for the last 29 years if you want to try and resist this evolutionary opportunity. But you'll feel more wholesome if you make those changes and you move forward, and you'll be filled up from the bottom of your toes to the top of your head and connected to the universe, and take in this divine light that is shining down on us at the moment to give us this amazing opportunity to grow. The idea is to respect your soul. This is where your authenticity comes in. It's not about doing what the outside world demands and pressurizes or oppresses you to be, which makes you feel like you're struggling, etc. It's for you to step up and say, hey, I'm perfect the way I am. I can do this. I've got this. I'm really good at this, and I'm powerful, and I'm going to crack it this year after enduring this Saturn-Pluto conjunction, especially in this eclipse time. There's a real push for this. So what does this mean, this Capricorn sign where the Saturn and Pluto planets are currently meeting up in the heavens at this very momentous time? Capricorn is all about being responsible and reliable and doing things according to law and order, being conservative, being traditional, being very mature. Capricorn is the sign of maturity and wisdom. And to do this in a very dignified manner. So this is a time where you can create self-mastery in your career by being mature in your decision-making, responsible, dignified, stick to rules and regulations. Realize that Saturn in Capricorn is all about hard work and taking little baby steps day by day. It's not a quick transition. This is all happening on January the 12th overnight. This is something that's been building up all of 2019, continues during 2020, and every little day you can check in with yourself. Am I being authentic to my soul? Am I willing to let go my old ways from the last 29 years? What is holding me back? And how can I have more integrity and dignity and mastery to climb the mountain? Because this is what Capricorn is. It's the mountain go-to. Steadily climbs the mountain until he gets to the top. It's an incredibly ambitious sign. So for all the Aries, I wish you many good blessings on this new journey. Pluto is the planet of power and control. And it is also, for me, the way I like to understand it, it's the phoenix that arises from the ashes. So there's the sense of complete transformation. There's something that you've got to let go of that hasn't served you in the last 29 years that you believe gives you security, but no longer actually does. So there's this grief and letting go and burning something down before the phoenix, which is the new version of you, can arise during the year of 2020. So that's a lot of powerful information there, and I hope that that really helps you, dear Aries. So the focus for you here being on your career and letting go things and fears and anxieties and paranoias that you might have that are holding you back to be the best version of you. Realizing that at the same time, you cannot sacrifice being a nurturing family member to make the career work. Perhaps, for instance, you might have thought working really hard gets you far in your career, and you've been working so many long hours that you don't have time for your family, for instance. And now with the Saturn Pluto conjunction, you might realize this is time for a new era, a new beginning. I'm going to work wiser so that I still have more time for my family as well and be successful at work. For instance, that would just be one example. For other people, it could be a brand new career change. A status change is often also related to a marriage. That is a change in status. So please remember, relationships are incredibly important at this time of you setting up the new career and becoming this dynamic, powerful business person. Helping you along during this time is Uranus, which has been traveling retrograde and goes stationary direct on the 11th, so right between the full moon eclipse on the 10th of January and the Saturn Pluto conjunction on the 12th of January. We have Uranus going stationary to go direct. And when Uranus does this in the sky, the symbolism is stronger and activated. And for you, dear Aries, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant signs, this is highlighting the sense of a need for breakthrough and new innovative ways in relation to your finances. How are you managing your finances? How are you managing your investments? And how are you looking after all the possessions that you care? It also relates, that are in your care, it also relates very much to your diet and your self-esteem. When we feel insecure, we often eat a lot. And with Uranus being in this part of your chart, for all the Aries, it is saying, be more independent, be a maverick, have breakthrough moments and insights in relation to your self-esteem, which is very much linked into how you look after your finances and how you look after your diet. So this might come quite suddenly because Uranus is about sudden changes and it's a very fast energy, it's very unexpected and disruptive sometimes, and it can even cause chaos sometimes because it could suddenly be this thing happening in the change of your self-esteem and your finances that you weren't expecting. So it might seem a little bit as a shock because it comes really fast, like lightning. It bang, it's there, bright light illuminating where the changes need to be made. And there's a sense of liberation that comes with it, and freedom and independence, because there will be a sense of realizing that you actually really want to rely on yourself more to get your finances into place. And to do this, innovation is required. Now, also helping you along during this time of change is Neptune. And Neptune is the planet that relates to our spiritual connection. It is where we realize that we are actually spiritual beings and not material beings. This is where we connect to our own higher self and to God and to the angels, and we realize we are not alone. We have this divine light shining down from the universe, the photons, the energy that comes with that. And it is with this connection to spirit and to realize that we're part of the bigger, that we're not alone, that a sense of blind faith and trust is awakened. The way that you're going to make contact to this sense of, I know everything is fine, I'm in divine balance with the cosmos and the universe and the planets. And remembering that you are the spiritual being connected to all of these energies that are influencing us is when you are going to be praying or meditating, when you're feeling isolated and alone. Like, in other words, if you take a walk alone in the forest or in the veld or in the bush or the beach, wherever it is that you're walking, there is a need for you to be on your own so that you can actually connect to the greater, to remind you everything's in order, the things that you want to let go in your career, the fears that have been holding you back. It's okay to do so. You've got support. You've got God, the universe, the angels as your support to keep reminding you of what your soul's inner authenticity is and to live this truly going forward. So, dear Aries, I hope that this helps you. Thank you so much for your time and for listening to my YouTube. I wish you well and lots of blessings. Namaste. Take care. Bye-bye.